You've heard of fear of failure. That one's obvious, right? But I bet you haven't considered that your fear might actually be fear of success itself. Ironic, right? The reason you haven't broken through your glass ceiling and hit your next level of visibility, of responsibility, of wealth, of capacity is because you are scared and afraid of the very thing you are striving for. In this training, I'm going to break down exactly how this is showing up for you right now, why it is showing up for you right now, and how you can move through it regardless so that you can bring your vision and your success to life. Right now, your day might look a little something like this. You sit down at your desk, you are ready to go for the day, and suddenly you find yourself picking up your phone, scrolling through Instagram, and you're like, why am I even on here? Why did I click on this app in the first place? I was meant to be sitting down to write my email for the day, right? You open up Google Documents, you are ready to perfect the offer that you are ready to launch, essentially. And yet you keep finding things to tweak and to change, and you keep wondering and doubting whether this is the offer. Is this the offer you want to launch? Could you make it better by doing this or doing that? Maybe you should wait a little bit. Maybe you shouldn't launch it yet. Maybe you should just keep tweaking it and keeping it in the Google Docs, right? And one of the most common ones, you might have a ton of posts written out in your notes app on your phone, and you just can't decide which one is the right one. Which one should you post today? Which one is going to magnetize your clients the best? Which one is going to show your personality the best? You just don't know. You are overthinking it. But this lack of trust, this lack of willingness to do it messy, to just move and see what happens, is not a fear of failure. Oh no. It is a fear of success. Yes, what if I actually do this? What if I actually achieve my vision? What will I do then? Who will I be then? And the thing is, it's so common for you to think that this is a fear of failure. As much as you feel like this is a fear of being wrong, I need you to hear me when I say this. You cannot be wrong. You cannot be wrong in your own fucking business. You make the fucking rules. You show up in the way that you want to show up. You do the content that you want to do. You launch the offers you want to launch. You cannot be wrong. And so your subconscious telling you that you are afraid of being wrong is purely protection from the success. Because it does not want you to get there. For whatever reason that it does not want you to get there. Because success to your subconscious is a threat. It's a threat because it disrupts the status quo. It brings about change, and not just a tiny bit. It brings about monumental change in your life, in who you are, in your responsibility for not just yourself, but your community, your audience, what you put into the world, right? Because your subconscious mind is not wired for success. It is wired for safety, for survival, to keep you safe from threats. And so anything that is deemed a threat to your subconscious mind is literally anything that is unfamiliar to it. And like I said, this level of success that you are striving for, because you have a big vision, you want to be wealthy, you want to be well known, you want to write fucking books, you want to stand on stages and tell your story and speak your truth, that level of success is not familiar to your subconscious mind. And so, yeah, it freaks the fuck out. Whenever you think of that version of you doing those things, your subconscious is like, hold the fuck on. This is not safe. We must keep her where she is and bring her back down to baseline and back down to what is familiar so that she never reaches that level of success and threat. Monumental success requires expansion of your nervous system, of your capacity, of your identity. And so these fears, they're very fucking valid. The fear of success is very fucking valid because you haven't lived that life yet. You haven't lived the experiences that you are envisioning for yourself. And so if you haven't lived it, it's unfamiliar to your subconscious mind. It's unknown and it's uncertain. And it really is that simple. You don't know, and you don't, right? You don't know until you do it. You don't know that you can hold that level of capacity, that level of visibility, that level of clientele, the high level woman that you are bringing into your world. You don't know if you can hold that level of responsibility. And so instead of finding out whether you can hold it or not by just simply doing it and seeing, your subconscious wants to keep you safe. And so it will keep you in the safe zone, in the familiar. And that is why you find yourself in this identity whiplash situation, the push-pull of old self and new self, constantly battling it out because new self, she wants to go off and explore. She wants to go and expand. She wants to see what she can do. And old self, she is ruled by fear. She is governed by the fears of, but what if it doesn't work out? And that is what your subconscious is trying to keep you in, old self, the version of you who doesn't want to strive for more because she's quite happy sitting in the fear. And I know what you're thinking, but Faith, I haven't actually lived that yet. And so my subconscious is right. It's right to feel the threat because I haven't lived that life yet. And I hear you. I really do. But this is where we can trick the subconscious. Because your subconscious doesn't know what is real, what is lived, and what is envisioned, right? And so this is where visualization comes in so handy, because if we can visualize that life, we can train our brains to expect that life. And so when that life becomes our reality, our subconscious does not react in the way of, holy shit, this isn't safe. It goes, oh, we've done this before. We're fine. And secondly, you don't know who you are without the hustle, without the grind, without the, oh, I'm trying really hard to build my business. You don't know who you are outside of that. Because if you were working really smoothly in your business, everything was going well, everything felt easy, and you were making multi-5 figures a month, a day even, and it felt easy, would you worry if people thought you were a scammer? Or worse, lazy? Because here's the thing, your identity runs the show, and what it says goes, period. Full fucking stop. And so if you are someone who cannot see success without the grind, without the hustle, without the burnout, who only thinks she's earned the success if she's absolutely on the floor after every single launch, then success is never going to feel safe for you. Because success in your mind is paired with burnout, with depression, with fatigue and tiredness, with relationship breakdown. And on the flip side, if you are someone who gets a kick out of saying, I'm trying really hard to build my business, I'm doing everything that I'm trying really, really hard. I'm trying this, I'm trying that, etc., etc. You will never be successful, not because you are not capable, but because being a trier by identity means that you are always almost successful. Because here is the thing. Yes, your identity runs a show, and any action that isn't aligned with your identity is basically thrown out. If it doesn't align with your identity, then your subconscious doesn't want to hear it, doesn't want to know. And so being a trier means you can't also be successful. And your subconscious is going to do everything within its power to sabotage your success, to bring you back in line. The thing is, these things are an easy fix, but you have to want to fix them and not revel in the things that you get and you gain from being in trying, from hustling hard, right? What are you avoiding? What are you gaining? And that's the first thing I really want you to gain awareness of, because we always gain something from our limiting beliefs and from our negatives. So if we are stuck in trying, if we identify as someone who is always trying, what are you gaining from that? Are you gaining validation from others? Are you gaining sympathy, attention? What are you gaining? I'm going to leave you with that because I'm not even going to touch on that in this episode, okay? The first thing we want to do is we want to visualize her. We want to visualize your future self, your future life, and what that actually looks like so that when it happens, because it is inevitable, if you can visualize it, you can bring it to life. It's inevitable for you. But in order to do it, we need to know where we are going. And I am talking detail, okay? What is she wearing? What does she look like? How does she do her makeup? What jewelry is she wearing? Where is she? Who is she with? What does her house look like? What does her husband or her partner look like? How does her day look? Is she on calls with clients? Is she voice noting clients while she's out and about? Is she working out in the gym and having a really solid morning routine and coming home and doing client work and feeling so at ease and relaxed and calm and confident? Is she showing up on Instagram Lives, the most confident version of herself? Is she laughing and joking in the kitchen with her partner? Is she traveling? Is she turning left on the plane and going into first class? Like, who is she? What is she doing? Give me all the fucking details, right? And the most important thing I want you to really, really hone in on is what emotions does she feel most in her day-to-day life? Because here's the thing. The emotion is where we really connect to the vision. That emotion is what we use to manifest that life. Because we don't manifest from a point of what we do, we manifest from who we are. And so if we can really hone in on those emotions, we can bring those emotions into our day-to-day life now. And then our future life is not actually that far away from where we are right now. And so, like I said, your brain doesn't know what is real and what isn't. And so we use visualization to live the life before it happens so that our subconscious mind and our nervous system already feel safe. So when that life becomes reality, the subconscious doesn't freak out and try and bring you back down to old you and back down to a baseline that it feels is familiar, but it's not where you want to be. So I spend at least 10 minutes every single morning doing a visualization and connecting to my future self. Whether it be a specific future self visualization track, or sometimes I will literally just put Time by Hans Zimmer on repeat, on a loop, on my Spotify, and I will sit, my eyes closed for 10 minutes. I will just connect to my future self and my future life. And that way, every action I take that day is aligned with where I am going and not with where I am right now. And secondly, we want to play the fear at its own game. We want to play the fear to the end. And so by this, what I mean is that when we sense this fear coming up for us, whether it be us procrastinating before we do a really spicy post on Instagram, or not selling your offer enough because you're not truly convicted in whether you're able to facilitate transformation. When we notice those things coming up, what we do is we say, hi fear, or hi procrastination, or whatever it is that is triggering in you right now, because it's all linked to the same thing. And when we notice that, we say, hi fear, I see you. I appreciate you. But could you just let me in on like why you are here so that we can have a little chat about it? And your subconscious will answer you. Don't be surprised when you get the answer and you're like, oh, well, I can speak to myself. You will get the answer. And when you get the answer, that is your chance to then provide evidence for the contrary. So if the fear had shown up and you were like, hi, fear, how are you? Why are you here? Like, what are you trying to show me? And it goes, oh, well, I'm just a little bit afraid of like, if you keep showing up on Instagram, you grow your following and it grows really, really big, you're going to have to keep showing up and doing the work every single day consistently so that you can maintain that. And I don't think we can do that. And then that's when you can go, oh, but that's actually really easy, because when you have a bit of momentum, then posting's really easy. Like the ideas come to you really, really easily. And also, like when we're living our dream life, we're going to want to be sharing that with the world every single day. So, actually, I don't think that's even really a problem. It's not really a problem for me. And then the fear will go, oh, okay, well, I will see you later. And that's that. When you play the fear to the end, you play every single scenario in your mind and you go, oh, actually, no, because in that situation, I would do this. And in that situation, I would do that. And that's when you can provide evidence for your fears to go, actually, this is a non-starter. The more you do that and the more you have that rebuttal with your fears, you're going to lessen the impact your fears have. Your fears are never going to go away. And if they do, you're fucking Superman or woman. You're fucking Superwoman. Shall we go Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman. Your fears are never going to go away. What we want to do, and we don't want them to, because having a little bit of fear is just excitement without the breath. And so having that little bit of fear, it's like, oh, we're doing something a little bit edgy. It shows you when you're at your edge, right? And so when we have the fear, we want it to be just enough that we feel it, but not enough that it stops us in our tracks and it stops us from acting. Take 2 of playing the fear at its own game. And so secondly, what we can do is play the fear at its own game. We play it to the end and we give it a scenario. Well, we speak to it and we ask it why it's here, and we play that scenario to the end, and we show fear that it's actually not really a problem. And so, for example, if fear had shown up for you and you felt that fear, whether it be before you were going to post on Instagram, or whether it's before you were going live, or you were doing a group coaching call, whatever it may be, when you notice that fear, that's when you go, hi, fear, I see you. I appreciate you being here. Could you tell me a little bit of like why you're here so that we can come to a bit of a understanding? And then fear will come back to you. You will get an answer and it will go something like, if we get all of these new clients, but we won't be able to switch off. And that's a problem for us. And so now you know what the problem is. Now you know that your fear of success is around capacity. And so this is what you do. And then you go, oh, I really appreciate that fear. But when we have that level of clients, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have very specific work boundaries. We are going to have specific date nights in the week. We're going to box off time on the weekends so that there is no work and we just have fun and family time. We're going to travel and we're going to work our schedule around travel so that we have full weeks to switch off if we so choose, And then fear goes, oh, sounds like you've got it all figured out. Maybe I don't need to be here. And that's how it works. And then you play the fear till the end, and then the fear goes, oh shit, actually, it's a very logical way of looking at it. I hadn't thought of it like that. Once you start to show your subconscious a solution, it can start to trust you, and the fear will lessen. You will always have a little bit of fear, because honestly, we're fucking human. And there is nothing wrong with fear. Fear is just an emotion, just like excitement and just like happiness, joy, all of the sadness, all of the above, right? It's just an emotion. And we are wired to feel that. Fear can actually show you when you are about to cross your edge, when you're about to crash through into your next level. And so we always want to have that little bit of fear in there. Fear is just excitement without the breath, right? And so we want it to signal to us that we're doing something that's a little bit stretchy, but that it's not a problem, and that we still have the ability to move through it regardless. We have enough confidence and conviction in ourselves to do the actions whilst we feel the fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway, right? And despite what your subconscious might be telling you right now, or what you're feeling right now, you do actually want to be successful, or you wouldn't be watching this video. So go visualize your future self in all her glory. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more so that you know what is coming next. I hope you enjoyed this. I will catch you in the next video.